So far it's really good. I'm eating it up. I think for now I'm just gonna trust her. If it bites me in the end, so be it. Cohen and Serena. I've never described a book as hot before. Their tension was 10 out of 10. They're actually talking about Grey's Anatomy. He is so cute. If you are a fan of Ali Hazelwood, I think you would love Lana Ferguson's writing. That's adorable. I feel like my hair is giving Lord Farquaad or like George Washington. I'm not loving how it looks right now. Hi guys, and welcome back to another reading vlog. Today we are finally doing our werewolf reading vlog. I talked about this many times in my vampire reading vlog, and now I'm finally excited to give the werewolves their time to shine. Also, I was waiting for this video to show this. I got the Twilight series. I've been wanting it for a while, so I finally picked it up. It was the very last one at Costco, and I decided it was a sign. Also, Costco, very good deals on books. This set is $139, and I got it for 80 bucks. 80 bucks for 5 hardcover books that are special editions for the 20th anniversary. This is what they all look like. Oh, hello, you can see. There we go. Kind of see what they look like. I'm sure you've seen what they look like all over social media, but unfortunately we are not reading Twilight today. I have 3 books already picked out for what we're gonna read this vlog. I will wait to announce all of the books, but I will say that this vlog has been expedited by Mate. The second book in the Bride, I don't know what, is this a series? In the Bride series? I don't know if there's a series title, but I absolutely loved Bride. If you can see all my tabs, I loved Bride. It got me stuck on paranormal romance, so now we're reading more paranormal romance, but this time featuring exclusively werewolves. I guess not exclusively, but we're focusing on the werewolves. We're reading books about werewolves today, if I haven't made that annoyingly clear. Anyway, we have our very first book. I have read it a little bit and I'm already hooked. I am obsessed with the characters. They are absolutely adorable. And that book is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. It is if Grey's Anatomy had werewolves. It's giving that vibe. It's also giving The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Ali, I don't know why I said Ali like that. But the dynamic is very much giving Olive and Adam, so I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. I give The Love Hypothesis a 5 stars. I love anything Ali Hazelwood writes, so if Lana Ferguson has a similar writing style, I will definitely pick up more of her books in the future. So excited. It's so good. I can't wait to keep reading it. I did film some clips when I started it, so I will just let those play. I'm gonna get back to reading and I will give you an update later. Guys, I am loving this book. I am eating it up. It's so good. Today is daylight savings, or like the first day that daylight savings kicks in, and the sun is already setting and it's 4:30, so that has made me really sad that daylight is going to be no more, but I slept really well last night, so I guess I can't complain too much. Anyway, I might have to put my cat away, hold on. He's always making an appearance because he can't sit still and I can't trust him to do anything without supervision because he's a little menace. You're a little menace. He's handsome though. I feel like my hair is giving Lord Farquaad or like George Washington. I'm not loving how it looks right now. Back to the book. I am very happy with this book, and I do want to say an update before I finish it because right now I really want to just sit down and finish this book because my Libby hold for Mate expires in 8 days, so I really have to get on that and hopefully start that today. Don't eat my charm. But so far The Fake Mate is very, very fun. He's eating my, hold on. Okay, we're back, and now the dogs are too. But this is Grey's Anatomy with werewolves. This world has humans and werewolves, so some of the characters are humans. Most of the main characters are werewolves, or like shifters is what they call them. This book is about Mackenzie and Noah. Mackenzie is an ER doctor, and Noah is a heart doctor, or cardiologist. They both work at the same hospital, and Noah has this reputation for being basically an asshole. Like, they call him the boogeyman. They have a bunch of different names for him because he just has has this reputation of being very cold, very rude, and very quiet. He's just like a loner type. He keeps to himself and he doesn't take any shit. So that's his stereotype. Mackenzie is the exact opposite. She is friends with almost everybody. She loves everybody at her work. And another big part of this book is that the hospital can be very gossipy, so that plays a big part into the drama that happens. Noah and Mackenzie both find themselves in a weird predicament where they need to start fake dating, and that slowly morphs into a friends with benefits situation. This book is very open door. There's multiple explicit romantic scenes, I will say. So if you're not one for smut or spice, this is not for you. It's definitely not the spiciest thing I've ever read. There's no like dark romance elements. There's just multiple intimate scenes, and if that's not your thing, you probably won't like this book. But it also says on multiple reviews that it is a spicy book. There's a review on the cover that says addictive, especially smutty, and a breath of fresh air. The romance genre didn't know it needed. The warnings are there, but I also do like that it plays into the Omegaverse just a little bit. I've never read an Omegaverse book, but I've heard how they kind of work. And this one, Noah is an alpha and Mackenzie is an omega, and they kind of have their own lore in this world. I don't know exactly how accurate it is. I don't have anything to compare it by, but it makes me more open to that universe in the future. I know that there's a lot of books and a lot of things that encapsulate that whole world, but I do know I like werewolf romances, so maybe in the future I will explore that a little bit. But for now, I would say this is a very good place to start. It's really fun. I really like this. My prediction for this book is it's going to be a 4.5 or a 5 star. I really like it. It's really fun, and I really want to read more of this author's books because she writes very similarly to my favorite author, Ali Hazelwood. If you are a fan of Ali Hazelwood, I think you would love Lana Ferguson's writing. They write very similar, and now I'm excited that I have a new auto by author because their books are so similar. I automatically just trust her writing. Like, I just want to buy every book she has. So this is another author that I'm going to be looking for in the future. I'm also really excited that our next book is an Ali Hazelwood book. This is just a vlog full of my favorite authors, so I'm really happy that I found a new author that I really love. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to mention about this book. I've been having a really good time. It's really fun, it's really cute, it's really flirty. Again, it gives Grey's Anatomy vibes. A secret romance between two people in the hospitals talking about it, and it's the whole fake dating trope where they claim they have no feelings for each other, it's just an agreement, and then things evolve after that. So I think I'm just gonna keep reading, and if anything comes to my head, I will let you guys know, and hopefully I can finish it tonight. If not, I will definitely finish it tomorrow, and then we can start Mate very soon, because I only have that book for another 8 days, and I cannot mess this up because I'm surprised I even got the book in the first place, because when I borrowed it, it said that there were 100 people waiting, so I don't really know how that worked in my favor, but I need to read it because I'm not allowed to buy any books right now, so I need to read the whole on Libby. So let's finish this book and then we can move on to the next. He is so cute. I think one of my favorite tropes, even though it's not a trope, is when the male main character is this snarky, badass dude who doesn't like anyone. What is that trope called? I hate everyone but you, basically. That is my favorite because he could care less what anyone thinks about him, but for her, he is, what she said, floundering over himself. She said, a giant of a man who looks like he does and smells like he does should not be this adorable when he's floundering. They're basically friends with benefits, but he wants to spend more time with her, so he said, I was just thinking, ... if you wanted, that is. No pressure if you don't, but I was considering how much closer my place is to downtown, and I thought that if you didn't have plans, which you might, and that's completely okay, but if you didn't, I thought, and then she's like, spit it out, and he says, you could spend the weekend at my place, if you wanted, just to ... spend more time together, see what's there. And then they're talking for a little bit, and he says, I just wanted to spend more time with you. That's adorable. adorable. That's so cute. They've been intimate a lot in the past few chapters that I've been reading, and now he's just asking her to hang out because, what'd he say? He says, Mackenzie, I'm finding there isn't much I don't like where you're involved. He just wants to hang out with her. Like, they've been doing the deed and having fun and stuff like that, but now he just wants to spend more time with her. And it's so cute. It's so adorable. I think that is my favorite trope. The I hate everyone but you, and then they just become like putty and just the biggest babies because they're in love, and it's adorable to me. It's so cute. Also, the main female character, she has this obsession with soup, which same, because I love soup. Soup is her favorite food, so he took her to a food like festival where all of the foods are from various food trucks and they're all soups. It's this like market that has like 11 different food trucks, and every time they have a theme, and this theme is soup. So he brought her to this festival because he knows how much she likes soup. Also, that festival just sounds like such a great idea to have all these food vendors and then to have it be themed. I don't know what other themes they do, but it sounds like such a great idea and I wish we had that. But she has like 11 different soups and she's eating them right now and I'm so jealous. One last thought, because I keep stopping every few pages, but so far everything is going really well and there hasn't been any miscommunication, and it's making me really nervous because I'm not sure if this author writes third act breakups or not. So I'm really nervous that something is going to happen and it's going to stress me out only for them to end up back together again. So hopefully this book doesn't have any third act breakups, and hopefully any miscommunication that might come along is easily solved, because they're at least admitting right now that they kind of have feelings for each other, or they're alluding to it. So the last thing I want to happen is for them to have some type of miscommunication and then have this huge dramatic thing. Like, I just want them to be happy, and I hate the third act breakup. I feel like it's pointless because they always end up together in the end because it's a romance book. So hoping and praying that nothing bad happens and that they can just make it work in this last 100 pages. They're actually talking about Grey's Anatomy. That's hilarious. I just mentioned how this book is so similar to Grey's Anatomy, and they're sitting on the couch watching and critiquing Grey's Anatomy. That's hilarious. Good morning. We have a lot to talk about, unfortunately. Don't be mad. Sorry, I'm just gonna brush my hair while we kind of chit chat. Don't be mad, but I kind of finished a book and then read an entire book without telling you. So I finished Mate. I started and finished Mate. So here's what happened. I finished the fake Mate. I don't know if I told you guys that. I really don't remember the last thing I said or what I was doing, but I finished the fake Mate. I really enjoyed it. I'll do all ratings at the end, but I really liked the fake Mate. And then I was like, okay, let me just start on, like, let me start Mate, get kind of a feel for it, and then I'll update you in the morning saying that I started it, saying that I'm like 10% in, talking about the plot of it and stuff like that, because sometimes I just do that to save time. But here's the thing, Mate ended up being so good, I was hooked from the start. What I thought was gonna be like 10% turned into like 30%. And then the next morning, I ended up being busier than I thought, but I was like, it's okay. Like, I'll just not film today and then I'll update them tomorrow. And then I decided like, okay, maybe I'll just read to like 50% and then I'll let you guys know like how I'm feeling, and then do a few more updates on the back end of the book just to kind of like keep you involved. But then I was obsessed, and before I knew it, there was 20 minutes left in the book and I couldn't stop then. So I finished the book. It was one of the best books I've read all year. I cannot wait to give you a review at the end. If you don't know, Mate is written by Ali Hazelwood. It is the second book in the Bride series. I don't really know if it's a series or what the series name is called. On Goodreads, it just says Bride 2, so I'm just gonna call it the Bride series, but I don't know if that's the title or if it's specifically a series or if it's in like interconnected standalone series. I don't really know what's going on. I do recommend reading Bride first. If you want to read Mate, I would read Bride, but if you really don't want to, you don't have to. They're interconnected, but I think they can still stand on its own. But it's also like when I accidentally read Problematic Summer Romance before reading Not in Love. The main characters are gonna be from that first book because Mate has Cohen and Serena, but they're best friends. Cohen's best friend is Lo, Serena's best friend is Misery, and Lo and Misery are the main characters in Brides. If you really want to know more about all of the characters that are involved, you read the first book, but if you really don't care, horror and you just want to read Mate, I think you'll survive. So unfortunately, I read Mate, I loved it so much, but I didn't get to film any of it. So that's my bad. That's my bad. I thought I lost the book for a second. But last night I started Defiance by Alexandra Swanson. I was a little nervous to start it because it is a book with vampires, werewolves, and witches. And the last time I read a book about that, I read Lightfall by Ed Crocker, and I didn't really like it. I DNF'd it about halfway through. But so far, this one's eating. I am eating this up. I'm 50 pages in. I started reading it on my Kindle because it is available on Kindle Unlimited. But I do also have a physical copy that was sent to me by the lovely author Alexandria. I'm very, very excited. So far, it's very good. I really like it. It is about Chloe is our main character. Everything I'm going to tell you is on the back of the book and does happen within 5% of the book. So it's not really a spoiler. It's literally written on the back, and I'm only 50 pages in, and it happened like within 20 pages. So all of this is like the opening scene. It's not really a huge spoiler. It just intros what the book is about. Chloe is a witch. In this world, they have witches that are from 5 different elements. So you can control one of the elements, or you can be an elemental witch, which Chloe is. So she has control of all of them. There's earth, fire, water, air, and one more. There's a 5th one. And then there's also like telekinesis. Some witches have that. Maybe that's mind, spirit. I think it's spirit is the last one. So her bestie, forgot her bestie's name, but she is like a mind witch where she can like communicate with other people through their minds. Anyway, not Serena. Chloe is a witch, and she stumbles upon these wolves that are trying to do not so nice things to this young girl. She's underage. There's 3 big wolves that are trying to attack her and take advantage of her. So Chloe and her coven step in because they're just good people and they don't want other people to get hurt, especially in that kind of a way. So they step in, and the wolves are being the worst, just like scummy and like not good people. They're like, oh, are you challenging me? And she's like, yeah. She uses her powers to kind of like get them off of the girl, and then she grabs the girl, puts her like with her coven and makes sure she's safe. And then the dudes are like, give me her back, but nothing like official happens. They're just being really predatory, but she stops it before anything really, really bad happens. So these guys are just being pigs. The leader guy says like, are you trying to challenge me? And she's like, yeah, because I'm not giving you this girl back. Like, I'm not letting you just take advantage of this girl. So then he's like, okay, it's a challenge. Like, you have no idea who I am. I'm like Alpha Victor or whatever. And so this means that she has to challenge the alpha, and he has to, what's it called? There's a word for it, but he has to like either back down or fight to the death, and his ego like won't let him back down when challenged. So she has to kill him to save this girl, which she ends up doing. Again, literally in the back of the book. One night after a coven celebration, she happens upon Victor Rasputin, a lecherous and bloodthirsty werewolf. A fight to the death changes Chloe's life instantly. She is now the Pax Alpha, their leader. Literally on the back of the book. So they fight to the death. She ends up killing him and his buddies because then they come after her, which is against the rules. You're only allowed to fight the person that challenged you, so it can only be a one-on-one. But then all his other buddies, I think there was 3 of them, try to come after her as well. So then she takes them out because she was a very, very powerful witch. But after she eliminates this alpha, she now becomes the alpha. So if you don't have that much experience reading werewolf books, some common lore between all of them is that if you challenge an alpha and win, you become the new alpha. So if you don't like your current alpha, you can challenge them, and if you defeat them, you become the new alpha. That's kind of a consistent lore between all the books. Obviously each book is going to have different lore based on who's writing it, but that's pretty consistent. So she becomes a new werewolf alpha, so she transforms from a witch to a werewolf, which is very interesting. Didn't know that was possible, but in this world it is possible. I'm like spitting, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of excited about this book because literally anything can happen. A witch just turned into a werewolf. So far I really like it. So far it's really good. I'm eating it up. I'm about 50 pages in, like I said. Going so well so far, and we'll see where we get. Sorry for not reading Mate with you. I really wanted to include it in this video. That's why I took out this book initially and replaced it with Mate. But I will say Mate was phenomenal. Cohen and Serena. I've never described a book as hot before, but that book is hot. Like, it is steamy. The second that you are introduced to the tension, you know when it comes to like their spicy scenes, it's gonna be crazy because their tension was 10 out of 10. Chef's kiss. Like, I could have lived off just their tension. Oh my god. Allie Hazelwood is queen. That tension was so, so good. So at the end, I will talk more about them. I don't want to get in the way of Defiance here, but Mate was so, so good. And I'm so sorry for not waiting for you, but it was that good. I'm gonna read Defiance, get about halfway through, or just to a point where I really want to update you, and then we'll kind of talk about how we feel about all this lore in this book. So we will see. Okay, I remembered a few things. I read like 5 pages and then I remembered a few things that I wanted to say about this book. One, the writing is, I don't know the word, because I don't want to be critical because I am the last person on the planet that should be critiquing writing, considering I have no idea how to write a story or flesh out characters or do any of that. I'm just saying that I wish there was like one more round of editing before this book came out. It feels a little like young and juvenile, but it's still enjoyable, if that makes sense. Again, I don't want to be harsh because this is still her first book, I believe this is her debut book, and I know authors don't really find their voice until like 6 books, so this is still a very, very good debut. I just think that it doesn't read as adult as I think it's intended to be, if that makes sense. Also, I don't know if I can trust this Luna character. The Luna is the mate of the old Alpha, and she seems very nice, but I don't know if I can trust her yet. The writing is making it seem like we can trust her, but I can also see in the future it being the plot twist that she's like a mole and working against them. So I really don't know if I can trust her or not. I think for now I'm just gonna trust her. If it bites me in the end, so be it. I'm a little wary. I think if you're someone that can still enjoy a story regardless of writing, this is perfect for you. But if you're someone who's very particular about writing structure, I think this is gonna bother you. For me, someone who sucks at English and is a math and science person, I notice it, but it doesn't impact how I'm enjoying this book, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I feel like you could have done more on that sentence or that paragraph, but overall it's not bothering me to the extent that I want to throw the book at the wall, you know? I know that there are some people out there that are very particular because they have an English language writing background, and for those people I feel like this is not the book for you. Just throwing that out there because I feel like you will be bothered by the writing, or give it a try and prove me wrong. I don't know. I'm just warning for those out there because I know nothing about writing a story or anything like that, and I'm having a great time. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to reading and we'll see what happens. This book is very conflicting. I just read like 10 more pages and I do believe it is mostly telling and not showing. Is that what everybody says? It's like a play-by-play, honestly. It's like I did this, then she did this, then I did this, then she did this, then we went and did this together, then we had lunch, then we did this, then we did that other thing, then I called in these two, and then we did this. Like there's no internal dialogue. It's just talking through people. So I don't know how I feel about that, but also it's really funny, honestly, because the previous Alpha was just a very messed up person. So she's like, okay, is there some type of psychologist here, one we can trust? And they're like, we do, she was arrested yesterday. And it's like, for what? Somebody else says, for helping me talk to my brother. Like everyone has been arrested for the dumbest reasons because this guy was just so adamant about control. But I also really appreciate this comment about rehabilitation because a lot of these people have been locked up, some have been tortured, but some have been in prison for a really long time just because they pissed off the Alpha. And this new Alpha, this girl, Chloe, she said, we will need to interview each prisoner separately. Some of the new ones might be able to be released right away, but the ones that have been tortured for months or years will need rehabilitation before we can let them out. Being around large crowds and loud noises will be triggering for them. Plus, it looks like some of them haven't seen daylight in months. The charges some of these people have are ridiculous and don't match up with the type of person they were before Victor got here, which I really appreciate coming from someone with a forensic psychology background. Rehabilitation is really, really important, especially when people have been in prison for multiple years, if not multiple decades. You need to rehabilitate them back to current life because prison life and the outside world are very, very different. And I feel like America is very, very bad at teaching them the realities of leaving prison, because they rehabilitate them to their own standards and then they just let them out into the world with no access to finances, transportation, housing. Maybe if you're lucky you have supportive family that can just pick you up and bring you home, but for a lot of people they don't have that. So you're just on your own with no way to make money because no one wants to hire a felon, and then they end up just going back to their old ways, doing illegal things to get money so they can feed themselves and house themselves, and then they end up back in prison. I think some places are fixing it, but it's definitely the minority. But we have to help them get back to their psychological baseline of living in this world. Because even where I live, like we live next to a train, we live next to a bunch of like other townhouses with a bunch of people and kids and dogs and all these noises and all these things that someone who's been kept in solitary forever would freak out about. You can't just go like from one extreme to the other. You need to gradually increase that. Like she said, people who haven't been exposed to daylight in months, you need to make that gradual. Just like how if you're starving, you can't eat like a buffet full of food because your body can't handle it. That's why people on Survivor, when they have those challenges where they win, a lot of people say that they throw up afterwards because they were eating so much and their body isn't used to it because it's been in fight or flight mode that they can't handle all this food. And why doctors recommend that you actually eat very small portions and very small sips of liquids, because your body needs to adjust from going into extreme starvation to a full diet. Like you can't just jump from one to the next. So I do appreciate that comment because it is something that I have studied for the past 3 years, and it hits home for me because I've done a lot of research projects about this and it is very true. So anyway, I'm gonna quit yapping and just get back into the book. I've just been having so many comments and so many like thoughts running through my head that I want to say that before I forget. But I think I'm gonna go read in my chair because I have a nice fluffy blanket, and then we're gonna continue. So I have unfortunate news. I did not love this book. Here's the thing. It's been a few days. I am actually headed to work soon, but I wanted to give my final thoughts on this book since I finished it last night. I am very torn because I believe this is a debut novel for this author. She's an indie published author. It is very hard to write a book, and I recognize that. And I've heard that the first like handful of books that somebody writes are always going to be iffier than, I don't want to say worse, but like iffier than anything they write after that, because it takes multiple books for writers to really find their writing style. And I don't want to be rude to an indie author. I don't want to be rude to any authors. I really hate when I don't enjoy a book because I just want to review books and have fun and spread the word on all my favorite books. I ended up giving this one a 2.5 because I really think this book has good bones. I really liked the characters, I liked the setting, I liked the premise of the book, but I felt like this book needed a few more rounds of editing, not only for sentence structure, but also just for like plot wise. I felt like you really could have expanded some things and developed the story in a different way. Also, just the way that she writes, I didn't really enjoy because it felt a lot like just telling us instead of showing us. I feel like this book is the epitome of that because I took a photo of one of the pages because I felt like it was the perfect example of what I mean. I turned to Victor's journals again. I had barely made it through the first one. It chronicled his brutality before he took over the White Moon Pack. His entries were very detailed. They brought up a lot of memories from my past, making the journals hard to read. The strange part was that they were very detailed about punishments and torture, but not about day-to-day life. In fact, there was no mention of the day-to-day. It made me wonder if he had separate journals for that or if he just didn't care. Just the part where like his entries were very detailed, they brought up a lot of memories. Like I felt like you could have really stretched that paragraph, like talking more about the page and like putting us behind your eyes to really see what's going on instead of like a report almost. I felt like this was a paper that somebody wrote about this, you know? Just saying the strange part was that they were very detailed about punishments and torture, but not about day to day. Like talk about it. Talk about what you're seeing and then your mental process about like, why doesn't he have day to day? Just like take us through the journey instead of just telling us this happened, that happened. Take us through your thought process instead of just telling us what you see in a report form, if that makes sense. So again, I love indie authors. I never want to bash an indie author. I have so much respect for indie authors who write books in their spare time while also having a full-time job. In the author's note, I read that she's actually a 911 operator and she has degrees in criminology, forensic science, as well as many other areas. And as someone with a forensic science minor and a psychology degree and a forensic psychology degree, I very much respect that and I really love that for her. But I also understand that I'm such a math and science person, I could never write a book. and I have a feeling she is a math and science person, and us math and science people, we need people to help us when it comes to writing and language. We're not naturally gifted with being able to harness the beauty of writing and the beauty of language, and we need a little help because we think so logistically. And that's just my own assumption. I obviously don't know her, I've never met her, but she has a BA in criminology, sociology, and criminal justice with a minor in forensic science. So I'm assuming she's a big science person. So as a fellow science person, it is very hard for me to articulate things in a beautiful way and to write a story and really capture the essence of every character. So I do not fault her for that. I could never write this. I enjoyed the first part before I really recognized what was happening, and I do really like the characters. I think the bones are great. I think this book is objectively, the idea of it is good. I think this book just needed like 2 or 3 more rounds of editing to really make it like a 4-star read or a 5-star read. That's just my final thoughts. I'm really sad. I wanted to give it a 3-star, but I generally would not recommend. So my 3-star ranges are kind of books that I felt iffy about, but would still recommend to people because I can see why other people would like it. But this is just a book that I wouldn't really recommend to others unless you want to try out the writing for yourself. But it is on Kindle Unlimited if you're curious, but again, not my favorite read. Our next and final book of this reading vlog is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. I'm very, very excited for this book. It's been on my TBR forever. It's just over 400 pages. Ooh, I like that we get a little excerpt from Servant of Earth because I just saw somebody reading that on Instagram. The cover is beautiful, so I was captured. But the book is 409 pages, so hopefully we can get through this pretty quick because this vlog has taken like 2 weeks now. So hopefully we can get through this. Hopefully it's a good read. I'm very, very intrigued. I love werewolves. I love vampires. I love when they're in the same book together, and this will be interesting to see them kind of get together. I have no idea what it's about, so I'm gonna go to work, maybe read a little bit, and then I'll update you guys later. See ya. Hi. So I have a really unfortunate announcement. This is the end of this vlog. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I was planning on reading another book, but I think Defiance put me in somewhat of a slump, and it kind of knocked me off of any interest whatsoever in werewolves. So it's currently December and I still haven't had any urge to read a werewolf romance. So I think I'm just gonna end the vlog here. We technically have 3 book reviews because I read Mate in like a day and a half, but I didn't show you any of it. I apologize. Usually I like to do 3 books per reading vlog, but I just really don't think it's gonna happen, and I wanna prioritize not putting myself in a book slump, especially with the last month of the year. I have a lot of videos that I wanna post. I want to attempt like a mini version of Bookmas, so I really need to not be in a slump right now. So hopefully I will get to this book one day, but unfortunately, this week, this month, this year is not the day. We will see. I don't know. I think I just overdid it. I did a lot of vampire books and then a lot of werewolf books in the fall, and I just overdid it. So unfortunately, the vlog ends here. We'll do a quick recap before I go. I also got, I don't know if I showed you guys, but I also got the Barnes & Noble edition of Mate. It's so beautiful. Ah, she's gorge. She's gorge. Look at her. Gorge. I love that they came out with like a purple edition. It's so fun when they come out with different colors. Let me find the other books. Here are the books of this vlog. First, we have The Fake Mate, which was a 5-star book for me. I absolutely loved it. It is Grey's Anatomy meets vampires, and it goes into the Omegaverse like a little bit. I haven't read a full Omegaverse book to really tell whether or not it is Omegaverse, but the female main character is an Omega, the male main character is an Alpha, and then apparently that relationship is supposed to be extra special because Omegas and Alphas have like a really rare, strange, like really powerful connection. But it was a 5-star. It reminded me a lot of Ali Hazelwood's books. I don't know if it was the writing style or the fact that it's more like science. They're both doctors. It was so fun. 5 stars. I will pick up more Lana Ferguson books. I think she just came out with a new book and I'm going to buy it this week because I love her writing. Ali Hazelwood is my favorite author, and anyone who I can find that has similar writing, I will auto buy for sure. Then I read Mate in like a day and a half. 6 stars. So good. Probably up there for my top 5 reads of the year. Again, Miss Ali Hazelwood is my favorite author, as I just said, and this being her, I just spit, I'm so sorry. This being her release release for the fall season was so perfect. Allie kind of releases like 3 books a year on average. So she has one kind of in like the springtime, in the summer-ish time, and in the fall-ish time. And then sometimes she'll come out with like a novella for the winter. She writes so much and I cannot be more grateful for her because I just keep getting all these amazing books. So now that I have Mate, I have read every book she's released this year. I've read Deep End, I've read Problematic Summer Romance, and now we've read Mate. I absolutely love this book. Our 2 main characters, one is a human hybrid, one is an alpha. He is part of a pack where he has to remain celibate, but this is his mate. So it's interesting with the dynamics, knowing that he cannot be in a relationship because it puts his pack at risk versus being there for his mate, which is like this biological tie to another person. It's a really strong inner battle for him, and these 2 are just amazing. I love any female main character that Allie Hazelwood writes. The male main characters are good too, but her FMCs for some reason are always so witty, so funny, so complex, and I absolutely love that about her writing. So 6 stars, love, 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 love. I hope she comes out with more in this series. And last but not least, we have the book to end it all, Defiance. That's very rude. I'm very conflicted because when it comes to indie authors who don't have like huge publishing houses behind them to help support them, I give them a little more grace because they're doing it on their own. They're publishing a book on their own, which is already very, very hard. Something I could never do, for sure. So I want to give them a lot of grace, but I also don't want to like skew my rating system, and I don't want to put out false reviews just to make someone feel better. Like, I want to be honest. So this book for me was a 2.5 star. I thought the idea, the structure of the book was very good. I liked the characters, I liked the setting, I liked the general plot structure. I just felt like this book needed a few more rounds of editing. I felt like it was a little hard to read just because of the sentence structure. I felt like she could have gone way more in depth with descriptions and thought process. Something would happen and she would just very broadly summarize it instead of going into depth about the character's point of view, the character's mindset, the character's thought patterns, what they're seeing, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And she would just say like one sentence about it, where I felt like you could have a whole page about like what's going on in their head. That being said, I did like the characters. I did like this kind of situation where a witch then becomes into a werewolf. I've never seen that in anywhere else before. The magic system was interesting and cool. Again, just needed some more editing. I would be open to reading her books again, so hopefully in the future she just does a few more runs of editing because her ideas are really good. The like skeleton, is that like, what's the phrase? Like the bones of it are good. It just needs a little extra help, but that's all I'll say. All right. That is the end of the werewolf reading vlog. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the full reading vlog. Hopefully next year I'll find a time to do this again because there's werewolf books all over the place, so we will see what we get to next time. But thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for the month of December. Hopefully I can get some reading vlogs out. I just started working at a bookstore and I'm about to take my state test for my big girl job, so I will try my best to get everything in. Also, I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers. My goal is to hit 1,000 by the end of this year, so we're about like 100, a little over 100 away. So please subscribe, please stick around if you love any type of reading content. I love posting TBRs, reading vlogs, literally anything involving readings. If you're interested in anything like that, please stick around and I will see you guys next time. Bye.